Well, the public trust doctrine is an ancient legal doctrine. It comes from Roman law and probably before that, that says that the state, the sovereign, which in our case is New York State, holds the water in trust for the use of the people. And they have to protect the water. There are interesting cases involving in a federal U.S. Supreme Court case where the Illinois legislature gave away all the waterfront to Lake Michigan to a railroad company, and the U.S. Supreme Court said you can't do that. The waterfront belongs to the people, and you can't. The state legislature can't just give it away to railroad companies. The way that I think that DEC has misinterpreted the 2011 water permitting law and made it into a much greater benefit for large industrial users than it was intended to be is that they are imposing the condition in the law that says that users get their, existing users get their maximum reported capacity, but they're not imposing any terms and conditions that the law also requires. They have to have, the law says there should be appropriate terms and conditions. And we just got this appellate division where the court says, yes, you know, the law says terms and conditions for existing users. And so what DEC is trying to do, has done, because most of these permits have been issued. We got the first permit annulled, but there are hundreds of other permits have been issued, is they give the large industrial users a benefit that's even greater than an exemption, because they give them a permit, which is a privilege to take water, and may give them priority water rights over other users that don't have permits. But they didn't have any, the law says you can have this privilege, but you have to be subject to appropriate terms and conditions, and DEC is saying they're not going to impose those for existing water users. And they're not charging any fees. I mean, that's, you know, to cap it all, and you know, 1.5 billion gallons a day, TransCanada, well, here you go. To address the problems with DEC's interpretation, I think we really need to build a coalition and try to have the legislature, you know, address how DEC does renewals for these permits. They've issued permits, how are they going to renew them? And the experience that you folks have in Long Island with the Long Island permitting legislation, which predated the statewide law, and the experience, you know, I've been hearing about today of studies, you know, that haven't been implemented and that sort of thing. One of the purposes of the new law is to collect that information, but I think we have a lot to learn, you know, in trying to design some improvements, a lot to learn from the folks on Long Island, what your experience has been with the Long Island legislation and how we can, you know, improve or protect against problems that have occurred on Long Island when we try to redo the state, if we can redo the state legislation.